Habang nilalabanan po natin ang banta ng COVID-19, lumalaban na rin po ang mundo ng palakasan at dahan-dahan nang nagbubukas. At yan po mga magiging balitaan natin ngayong araw na ito, ang pagbabalik ng mga paborito ninyong mga liga. Ito po sa Power and Play. Magandang umaga po sa inyo lahat mga kapatid. Naku, 7-11, 11 ng Hulyo, taon pa rin ng pandemya. At kami po ay nagpapasalamat na makakasama namin kayo ngayong araw pong ito. Ngayong umaga, ang inyo pong paboritong kasama sa agahan, kasama sa paglalaba, kasama sa pagkukula. Magandang umaga po. Ako po si Noli Iyala at ito po ang Power and Play. Hatid sa inyo ng Big Boss Cement at ng Cherry Loom, ang yerong may aluminum. Sabi ko nga kanina, habang tayo po ay patuloy na nakikipagbunuan sa banta po ng coronavirus, na ngayon ay patuloy na talaga naman pong dumadami ang nagkakaroon ng infection. Alam niyo po kanina nagkaroon ako ng malungkot na balita na yung isa kong kaibigan, yung kanyang pamangkin ay tinamaan na po ng coronavirus at positive po. Talaga naman po, huwag tayong magpapabaya. Tuloy-tuloy po, lagi natin paalala yan, tuloy-tuloy po ang ating pag-iingat, ang ating pong pagsuot ng face mask, ang paggamit po ng alcohol o ng paghuhugas ng ating mga kamay, and of course, ang ating pong social distancing. Kahit po bumubukas ang ekonomiya, tayo po ay mag-observe pa rin ng social distancing. 6 feet apart, mga kapatid. Wag po, yung hindi po social distancing, magkakadikit. 6 feet apart, yan po sinasabi ng mga eksperto, para po tayo ay malayo sa pagkakahawa at tayo po hindi rin maging sanhi ng pagpasa ng coronavirus. Sabi ko nga kanina, ang dami pong mga balita sa mundo ng sports. Nagbubukas na po ang NBA, of course. Dumating na mga players ng NBA doon po sa kanilang bubble facility na tinatawag na Walt Disney World, doon po sa Orlando, Florida. Nakita na po natin yung mga litrato ng mga players na dumating, ang kanilang mga rooms sa hotels sa Walt Disney World. Doon po sila magpa-practice sa ESPN facility. At ika nga, may mga manlalaro din na hindi po nakabiyahe kasama ng kanilang mga kupunan. Pag-uusapan natin mamaya yan. Of course, alam po rin natin yung mga balita ng POC, PSC na minumungkahi po na magbukas na o payagan na ang mga Olympic hopefuls na mag-practice muli. Naku, talaga naman dapat. Dahil hindi naman natin alam kung sa tagal ng panahon, baka mawala sa kondisyon o di kaya ay magkaroon ng mga injury dahil baka mabigla. Kaya po, tingnan natin kung ano mga kaganapan tungkol dyan. May mga balita din po tayo sa mga nangyari sa PBA, yung pong pinatawag si Japet Aguilar dahil doon sa kanyang ginawang paglalaro ng 5-on-5, kasama ng iba pang mga manlalaro katulad ni Thirdy Ravenna at ni Isaac Go. No, so I think pati yung isa pang PBA player. So sila po ay pinatawag. Of course, si Isaac Go at saka si Thirdy, ang nag-reprimand naman dyan ay mga tiga SBP, no? So talaga pong kumbaga gigil na yung mga player. Well, may magandang balita ang PBA dahil magsisimula na po ang pag-iensayo kahit hindi pa scrimmages actually. And of course, yung balita po ni Greg Slaughter, na siya po ay pumirma sa pinakamalaking management agency o talent agency, player agency ng buong mundo, yung Bio Best. Well, maganda pong galaw yan. And hopefully, we will get... Alam niyo po si Greg Slaughter, ito sikreto natin to, lalaman nakakarinig. Si Greg Slaughter po at ako ay merong pag-uusap. Ayaw nga lang niyang nung una ipasabi yan, pero nangako po siya na siya ay magpupunta dito sa ating show para magsalita one of these days at ating aabangan po yan. But of course, the big news recently, mga kapatid, ay ito pong sinasabi nga ng PBA na handa na silang magsimula ng kanilang mga ensayo, ng kanilang mga script practices. 4-on-4 muna ang kanilang gagawin. At para po yan ay masimulan, nagpatupad po si Commissioner Willie Marcial, ang Commissioner's Office, kasama na si Deputy Commissioner Eric Castro, si PBA Legal Counsel Attorney Melvin Mendoza, ng isang pag-uusap kasama po ang mga coaches at managers ng mga koponan ng PBA. At sila po ay nagpaliwanag nung kanilang mga health and safety protocols sa mga koponan. Among these, mga kaibigan, ay yung patuloy po na pagtitesta, yung pong pagguha ng mga testing ng mga players at personnel ng PBA teams. No? Ang sabi po ng kanilang protocol, bago daw po magsimula yung ensayo, 3 days before, dapat magkaroon ng COVID-19 testing ang mga players po para malaman kung sino ang ikangaligtas at sino naman ang hindi dapat makihalo dyan sa mga practices na yan. Ang isa pa pong sinasabi nila, dapat disinfect o lilinisin yung pong practice facility ng mga koponan. Alam niyo po, hindi kagaya ng NBA, ang mga PBA teams ay nag-iensayo sa mga kanya-kanyang practice facility. Ito po ay either silang may-ari sa kanilang property o di kaya sila po ay nagpupunta sa isang basketball facility na pagmay-ari ng iba. Medyo ano po yan, maselan yung bagay na yan. Kaya po sinasabi nila dapat i-disinfect yung mga practice facility na yan. At meron po silang tinatawag na closed circuit system. Ito po yung sistema na kung saan ang mga players at lahat po nasasali dyan sa mga practices na yan ay ang pwedeng puntahan lamang ay yung bahay nila at yung practice facility. Bahay, practice facility, balik sa bahay. Yan po yung tinatawag nilang closed circuit. Ako po, personal, mahirap po yatang malaman kung talagang yan ay mapapatupad. Dahil alam naman po natin ang buhay dito sa Kalakang, Maynila. Ito po mga manlalarong ito, kahit papano, hindi naman po ito para mga hari na sangkaterba ang ika nga pwedeng utusan at pwedeng sabihan ng ikaw na gumawa ng ibang bagay. Ito po mga player na to, karamihan po dyan, hindi po lahat, kailangan din pa pong lumabas at magpatupad ng kanilang mga pangangailangan sa bahay. Hindi ko po alam kung paano nila gagawin yan, but yan po isang bagay na talaga namang magiging maselan. At atin pong malalaman yan sa mga susunod na araw. Of course, patuloy po ang testing ng PBA kahit po nag-iensayo na. Tayo po'y sumusuporta dyan at sana nga matuloy na yan para po mabuksan na ang PBA. Pero ang ating pupulsuhan ngayon, para din po sa inyong lahat at konektado po dito sa ating pinag-uusapan, kumpiyansa ba ho kayo sa bahay, venue, bahay, o di kaya ang tinatawag nilang closed circuit system ng PBA para ibalik ang season po ng professional league. Again, pupulsuhan po natin, kumpiyansa ba kayo, mga kapatid, sa bahay, venue, bahay, o ang closed circuit system ng PBA para ibalik ang kanilang season, ito pong naantalang season ng 2020. Kung gusto niyo po makilahok sa ating talakayan, mag-text lamang sa ating hotline 0949-691-4956. Again, 0949-691-4956. At di kaya mag-post po sa aming Facebook page, Power and Play with Noli Iyala, o yung Radyo 5 92.3 News FM. Mamaya po, babasahin natin ang inyo pong mga pulso. Siya nga pala, last week, sinimulan na po natin yung ating Power and Play Padjak. Patuloy po yan, hindi po tayo nagtatapos dahil lamang sa namigay na tayo. Meron na po tayo na pagbigyan na 2 recipients, si Alex Dulva at si Delphine Lacsinto. Ngayon po, itong ating proyekto, Padjak para sa Pagbangon, Bisikleta, alay sa inyo. Ito po ang aming give back project sa Power and Play. Tuloy-tuloy po yan, para po makilahok. Napakadali po. I-like lamang ang aming Facebook page. I-subscribe lang po ninyo at i-like yung Noli Iyala YouTube channel. At sagutin lamang po itong mga katanungang ito. Ang katanungan lang po namin bakit po kayo deserving na makakuha ng bisikleta mula sa Power and Play ngayon pong panahon ng pandemya? Ganun po kasimple, At ilagay rin po ninyo kung sino yung sports idol. Lagyan po nyo ng hashtag Power and Play Padjak. Ito pong promotion namin tuloy-tuloy na sinusuportahan ng napakaraming mga generous donors ng bisikleta. Mamaya babanggitin po namin na silang lahat. napakalaking pasasalamat po namin sa kanila. Yan po yung ibang nanalo sa atin. Yan po si isa pong bulag na si Delphine Lacsinto na nagsumulat para po magkaroon ng bisikleta ang kanyang misis. Ayan, nagkaroon na nga po sila. At yung isa po ay si Alex Dulva naman, na siya naman po isang security guard na natutulog na po siya dyan sa may Memorial Park dahil hindi siya makauwi. Ngayon po, finally, makakauwi na uli siya sa kanyang pamilya. So kami po ay nagpapasalamat sa inyong lahat, sa inyong pagtulong po dito po sa ating programang Jack para sa pagbangon, bisikleta, alay sa iyo. Alright, so mamaya po, babanggitin natin yung ating second set of recipients sa katapusan po ng ating show mamaya sa ating second hour. Again, tuloy-tuloy po yan, basta mag-post lang kayo at magiging available po sa inyong lahat yan. Alright, at this point mga kaibigan, I think handa na tayo para sa ating unang kakausapin ngayon pong araw na to. By the way, gusto ko lang batiin ng isang happy birthday ang aking kaibigan sa Ateneo, si Lia Nonas. Happy birthday sa iyo, partner. And I'd like to say hello also kay Mayor Amben Amante ng San Pablo City. Alright, at this point, mga kaibigan, gusto nating ipasok na ang ating unang kakapanayamin ngayong umaga pong ito. Ang ating pinag-uusapan natin yung NBA beat na kung saan nagsisimula na po ang NBA at ating pong makakasama, of course, ang eksperto at ang ating laging paborito sa NBA. Walang iba kundi si Homer Saison ng Spin.ph, live from Chicago. Magandang umaga, Homer!
Good morning Jan, Commissioner. Just so before ako magsimula, I just want to let you know and yung mga listeners natin na I already filed a case for unintentional infliction of emotional distress sa barbero ko. He murdered my haircut today.
Bakit maganda naman? Ako nga, ayoko magpakita. Umaba na uli yung buhok ko dahil alam mo, natatakot ako dito dahil all of a sudden, tumataas na naman ang cases. So, medyo sabi ko doon sa aking barbero, magpatingin ka muna bago ako magpagupit ulit. But hey, by the way, Homer, belated happy birthday.
Thank you.
I posted a post on Twitter to greet you, and really sincerely from all of us here in Power and Play, happy birthday, Homer.
Sa Twitter, Commissioner, me and my 82 followers who are so ecstatic that you greeted me. Anyway,
all right,
good morning.
Let's go to the actual case in point dito. Alam nyo, pinag-uusapan natin kanina dito, Homer, is of course the NBA restart. Nagdatingan na ang mga manlalaro. We've seen pictures of Troy Daniels showing his dinner na medyo dismayado siya. Although si Demary Carroll naman this morning posted, sabi niya, wow, this is where I come from, this is already super cooking, no? Nakita na rin natin yung mga litrato nila Pat Beverly showing their rooms. We've seen Toby and Bobby Show coming back. You know, in other words, ang tanong ko, what is the sense that you get from the players now that they've started arriving dito sa Orlando?
Commissioner, I think the word is cautious optimism. Kasi in Florida, it's a nagiging heart ng pandemic nitong Florida. It is a hotspot. As of today, 244,000 COVID-19 cases in Florida. And as of today alone, which is a second largest one-day record, 11,433 cases. Ang dami. And then, see, here's the problem kasi, Commissioner. The NBA bubble is very secure. Talagang maganda. It's, the NBA has hired the best doctors, the best epidemiologists to make sure na yung protected yung bubble. The problem is there are so many variables. Number one, yung mga empleyado kasi ng Disney World Resort, they are not under the same stringent protocols kasi union nga sila, as I have previously said. So they can come in and out as they please. Secondly, the players. Alam mo naman yung mga players, Commissioner, these are 20-year-old, some of them 30-year-old players. How do you really guarantee? Kasi wala namang, the NBA doesn't really have a legal enforcement teeth to say na hindi ka makalabas, bawal na lumabas ka sa hotel. Alam mo naman itong mga player na to, some of them have more than 2 loved ones. So talagang lumalabas yan. So that's the problem, the exposure. The exposure, and then ito nga, I think even 2 days ago, si Commissioner Adam Silver even admitted na if there are a certain number of positive tests, I think they would have to shut it down again. So yun lang.
Actually, yun ang gusto kong sabihin, no, o tanungin sa iyo, because even the Major League Soccer diyan sa US, no, yung isang team has been pulled out. I think it is Dallas or something like that, na
Yes.
buong a good number of the players tested positive, and they just pulled out the entire team, no, yung Major League Soccer. Now we're seeing in the NBA, from what I read, and I don't know if this has been updated, 25 players have already tested positive from in the testing ng NBA out of the 351. And there's
32.
also team 32. And then you have team personnel that have already tested positive. You said, yun nga, yung kaso sa Florida, pataas ng pataas. It has become a hotbed of the virus. That all that apprehension, and Commissioner Adam Silver said, we might have a hole in the bubble. Now, are you confident na kahit papano with the cases rising, the NBA restart is still secure?
It is secure. I mean, it is designed to be secure. Yun lang ang problema. There are things that are beyond the NBA's control. Like the outside, yun na nga, empleyado ng Disney Resort, which they don't control. The people that clean those hotel rooms. You mentioned na nagpakita nga ng hotel rooms. The people that bring room service, they are not under the same protocols to the NBA kasi yung mga players, they can be tested every day. So yun ang problema.
Yun ang worry. Oo, yun ang worry.
Yan is, the latest ngayon, Commissioner, just before I went on air, is this. Kasi yung NBA, you have repeatedly espoused over this on Twitter that it's probably about time for the PBA to have a players association. So,
Right.
a union. So ito yung NBA Players Association, may union sila. And one of the concerns of the Matthew Martinez, who is a consultant for the NBA Players Association, is this. Pag may COVID positive test daw, Commissioner, even if the player is 24, 25 years old, there is an exposure for lingering cardiac problems moving forward. So,
Okay.
so if I am the New Orleans Pelicans, and ito yung protocol kasi ng NBA. Let's just say Zion Williamson, he's 22 years old. So, pag mag-COVID positive test siya, the protocol in the NBA is 14 days. But the National Basketball Association, Players Association, sabi, not too fast. Although 14 days ang sabi ng NBA, we don't necessarily agree kasi even after the 14 days, we have to check the lung capacity of the player to make sure. Kasi pag ang player daw, kahit healthy, Commissioner, when you have a virus in your body, even though you have no symptoms and you continue to do physical exertion, it would hurt your lung capacity moving forward. So, so meaning to say, in the big picture, kasi dati, before this all happened, kasi the math was so simple. If somebody tests positive, you quarantine him for 14 days, and then you test him again. If he's negative, he comes back. That's no longer the case. Ang sabi ng NBA Players Association, it might take even 3 to 4 weeks. Kasi pag quarantine, wala talagang activity. Sabi ng union, kung positive test yung player namin, wala talagang activity. And then meaning to say, after the 14 days, he would need at least a week to recondition himself, and then the infection protocol, yung infection management protocol. So, napakarami, Commissioner. It's just
very interesting that the NBA, though, is taking every step talaga to ensure that the whole bubble is kept, the integrity is kept whole, no? Talagang para hindi ma-breach. In fact, they have released a kind of ring, a smart ring called Aura, where the players are notified if they are within 6 feet of another person and kung merong possibility of early symptoms being detected. So they're doing everything that they can. No? But again, Homer, there are other concerns na hindi lang medical. These are also the mental health concerns.
Correct.
Being away from the family, the social issues, the social narratives that is going on. For instance, do you think the NBA players, most of them, will be wearing those messages behind their shirts just to keep them, socially, I guess, relevant at this time?
Yes, the fight for social injustice continues, and the NBA has allowed it. Now, may mga signs na allow Black Lives Matter, say your name, blah, 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 etc., etc. I don't want to diminish the value of it. Pero ito yung, when you're speaking about it, ito nga, Commissioner, the other side of it, not just the test, Don't forget, ang nanay ni Carl Anthony Towns died of COVID-19.
Right, right.
So here's the thing. Let's just throw this as an example. What if a player, God forbid, like a superstar player of any team, what if yung may pamilya siya, a son, a daughter, or a parent, o na had tested COVID-19? Do you stay in the bubble? Or do you rather go there and be with your family? Hindi naman allowed sa hospital because the stringent measures at the hospital for contamination and all that stuff. But
Mm-mm-mm.
how do you, those are the things na hindi mo maano, Commissioner. You cannot
Oh,
put your value on it. It's a variable. Yung sabi nga ng GM, it's an unknown. Ito
yeah.
yung hirap na the side of the epidemic that is so hard to deal with.
And now we're seeing many players opting out. Well, hindi naman, but there are still substantial players that have decided not to join the Orlando restart. Uh, as I said, there are health concerns, there are social issues, there's the long layoff, there are mental health concerns, there are no fans that will be allowed. So, in other words, this season, obviously, Homer, magkakaroon ng asterisk, yung tinatawag nilang, lalagyan nila na asterisk at the end. Whoever wins this. Now, what do you think does that asterisk mean? Is it positive or negative? Because some people are saying, well, the asterisk mean they just worked harder. On the other hand, some people are saying it's negative dahil parang meaningless. Hindi karapat-dapat. What do you think will that asterisk mean for this season?
I can argue it both ways. I can argue it like on the negative side, I would say, like I said, going back to my premise, what if maka-COVID positive si Giannis Antetokounmpo
That's right.
or Kawhi Leonard and could not play? So the championship of the Lakers will be negated. Sabi kasi hindi sila full strength. By the same token, I can argue on the positive asterisk. I could say, hey, not only did they beat the Clippers, they also beat the pandemic. And they beat the exigent circumstances na this is so very rare. But like I said, the thing also here, Commissioner, tama yung sinabi mo, the conditioning. You cannot expect the quality of the competition to be great dahil these are players that had action in 4.5 months. You can argue, sabi ng may mga listeners tayo, magsabi, natural naman yun when the NBA is done in June, they don't come back until November. But it's different. Without the pandemic, these players can go to gyms.
Right.
During this pandemic, there was no gym available, and even if there were gyms available, it was there was a stay-at-home order. So susceptibility of injuries, yung mga ACL, yung mga the ACL will be a muscle strain, a growing pull. Kasi 4.5 months, you cannot simulate an actual action. It's different when you're working out. Alam mo ito yung commissioner, being a former PBA commissioner, you know this. It's different when you're practicing. Kagaya ba nang pumunta ka ng gun range? When you're shooting a target which doesn't fire back. Iba yun. When you're actually in combat na talaga may balang bumabalik sa'yo. So this is where, this is just like I said, ito yun ang mahirap ng NBA. There's so many variables. And then if you wonder, bakit magagawin ng NBA? It's just so much money at stake, Commissioner.
Well, obviously.
It's just, the players want to collect their salary. The NBA teams want to make good on those TV contracts, so when the next season begins, they can start fresh.
Talking about that economics, Homer. Obviously, there's a need for this thing to work. Kailangan malawak pa rin ang magiging coverage ng NBA, no? And obviously, without the fans, na-diminish ito ng konti. But how is the media coverage going to be? How many media personnel will be allowed into the bubble, and will the media also stay in Orlando for 70 plus days?
90 days. I got an email from the NBA because limited nga ang bibigyan ng credential. So, because I've been covering the league for over 20 years now, I won't say binigyan ako ng preferential treatment, but they emailed me, we're gonna give you the credential application link before we give it to the major pool in Southeast Asia where I belong. Asia Pacific kasi yung link natin, Commissioner. So, first of all, I couldn't go because it's 90 days.
May iwanan mo misis mo, pagbalik mo, wala na dyan. Baka iwanan ka na rin.
I was gonna say, my wife is a higher power than Adam Silver. Hindi pwedeng iwan, Commissioner. And I have a 16-year-old son that, he worships me, I worship him, and we have such great bond together. Alam mo, as a father yourself. So I cannot imagine, as much as I love the NBA. Ito nga, to borrow the lines of a song with Diane Warwick, what do you get when you fall in love? Kasi I love the NBA. Pero ito yun, what do you get when you fall in love?
Mm.
You just need one guy with a pin to burst your bubble. NBA, just
Okay.
one irresponsible guy, and then
Well,
so
that's why you're beloved by your family, and that's why you're in the right place. And talking about the right things. Ako personally, Homer, when I look at the format of this restart of the bubble, I find it lame to be lame. I mean, technically, this is just seeding, and at the end of the day, it's really I don't know why there are 22 teams. Well, I know because of the economics of it and
yes.
everything, but at the end of the day, if you talk about basketball wise lang, it doesn't make sense to bring everybody there because at the end of the day, the seats are almost set.
Totoo. I agree. I mean, if you remember the last time I was in your program a couple of weeks ago, I even advocated for the 16 teams and go for the playoffs right away. Because
Right?
what's the point? Pero it is dictated by the economics. It is dictated by the business. Ito nga, tingnan mo, if you want to find more implicit proof of that is, ito nga yung mga teams na tinatawag nyo ng Delete 8, yung hindi nakasali. The NBA even wanted to placate them and say, hey, you can have your own bubble in Chicago. Para just to make sure na you can also get into the fun and all that stuff economics wise and everything else. Pero you're right, para sa akin, Commissioner, it should have been just 16 teams and then you go
Oo.
to the playoffs right away. Kasi
Yeah.
what's the point if you are, for instance, the Sacramento Kings or the New Orleans Pelicans, you're 4.5 games behind with 8 games to play in the regular season. I mean, ito talaga, the math is so distorted. Pero ito na nga,
Yeah. Yeah.
itong si Zion Williamson is a economic powerhouse. People want to watch him, ratings and all that stuff kasi walang gate
Mm-mm.
between. So yun,
Mm-mm.
I agree with you. Pero
Okay.
it's
Well,
dictated by the economics.
there are a couple of players that are missing, but there are also a few players that are coming in. One of them, of course, is J.R. Smith. Yun yung pinag-uusapan, no, na addition to the LA Lakers dahil nga nawala si Avery Bradley. How much do you think will JR be able to contribute to the Los Angeles Lakers? And do you think that this is a positive move para sa Lakers?
I was surprised. I wrote a column at Spin That Page 2 weeks ago. I thought they would get Jamal Crawford. Jamal Crawford went to the Brooklyn Nets, and I do not see. I find it hard to reconcile. Yeah, matanda na daw si Jamal Crawford. J.R. Smith's not young either. And if I were to compare both, they don't play defense. Make no mistake about it, Commissioner. They didn't hire him for defensive purposes. So if you're going to hire somebody for defense or offensive purposes to score, why not Jamal Crawford? He can, number one, he can create his own shot. He has great basketball IQ. I've covered him when he played with the Bulls. Itong si J.R. Smith, he could hardly pass a driver license test. So, itong,
At saka minimum minutes lang naman yung mga yan di ba?
yes, they are. So like I said, I'd rather go Jamal Crawford, a pure scorer. Pero you never know the backstory behind. Friends with LeBron, blah blah blah, and all that stuff. And,
Yeah.
he
All
had
right.
shown some physical agility itong si during the pandemic na may binugbog siyang tao sa,
No, but do you think that JR will contribute, Homer? Will he be able to? Kaya
No,
makakatulog ba kay LeBron?
yeah, he can because he's a spot up shooter. Here's the thing about J.R. Smith. He has made a living. And calling card niya is not J.R. Smith. It's a spot up shooter. Ang nakasabi ng calling card niya. And that's what you
Yeah.
need if you're the Lakers, because you would have LeBron and Anthony Davis. When they go down low, they're gonna be the defense is gonna shrink and suffocate the paint. So it'd be perfect opportunity for J.R. Smith. But like
All
you
right.
said, on limited minutes, he cannot be a
Yeah.
starter.
Well, okay. Before I end, and before I want to move into a particular topic. Just a question that I wanted to ask you. Greg Slaughter,
Yeah.
nagkaroon siya ng balita na he has signed up with Bio Best, one of the biggest player agencies in the world. What do you hear about this? What do you know about Bio Best? And lastly, do you think that Greg is on the way to playing abroad as well?
First of all, he's 32 years old. I mean, I love Greg Slaughter. I wrote a column about him na sabi ko, the PBA will move on without him, but it would be better with him. Ito, sinabi ko, sabi nga ni there's an old saying, I like to cook, Commissioner, and there's an old saying that says, a good sauce cannot save a bad noodle. So I don't
That's
care.
right.
I do not care how good your representation is. It's still the product. Kasi ako, Commissioner, if I will go to a modeling agency and I be represented by Vogue, it still won't matter because I'm still ugly. Who's gonna pick me up? You know?
Ikaw naman, oh.
No, I'm just being true here. So even if he's represented by the best agent in that part of the world, Eurobasket, he's still 32. And as far as I know, Greg Slaughter still cannot run 8 seconds in a 100-meter sprint. You know, so the speed, the agility is not there. Pero Filipino tayo, and I support him. But, you know, the people are just making a big deal out of it. It's not a big deal. He's still 32.
So-
Kung magaling talaga si Greg Slaughter, he'd be dominating the PBA, right? And he never
Alright.
even given him a deal that he couldn't turn down.
Well, it'd be interesting how that pans out. I guess my final question to you, Homer, is that at this time, the way I see it, sa NBA, the best overall record on the road may just win it dahil they're all playing on the road except for Orlando, actually, technically. So ako kagaya ko, wala na, nag-give up na ako sa Philadelphia ko dahil we have the worst road record in the NBA among the top teams, no? So who do you think will win it all?
The Lakers. I hate to say this. I want to punch myself when I say this. But you know why, Commissioner? During the pandemic, when everybody couldn't practice, only the Lakers did practice. Alam mo bakit, Commissioner?
Bakit?
Ang may-ari ng LA Gear, a guy named Steve Jackson, his house in Bel Air has a replica of the Staples Center basketball court.
Wow.
Itong si Steve Jackson, he has 8 season tickets to Lakers games. So he is a big Laker fan. So during the pandemic, when everybody couldn't go there, may mga secret sessions ang Lakers. They go to his house to practice. The source of this is JJ Redick and Ben Simmons, who both live in LA. And this did not come out until it was exposed. And I did, you know, alam mo naman tayo, Commissioner, I'm just like you. I'm a conscientious fact finder. So I didn't just listen to the rumors. I actually researched it, and I found out that this guy, Steve Jackson, yung bahay pala niya, also, ito dito nakaset yung many of the basketball court scenes for LeBron James's movie, you know, yung kay part 2 ng Michael Jordan movie. So yun.
Well, very interesting.
Because of that,
Very interesting.
Because of that togetherness, the practice time they have together, I would give the Los Angeles Lakers, but Clippers pa rin tayo.
Well,
And
and of course, a lot of people are still rooting for the Bucks dahil now that nakapahinga daw si Giannis, he may be even better than he was. And you know, that version before the pandemic was scary. And if he's better, I cannot imagine what kind of team and player he will be.
He hurt his ankle, and this 4.5 months gave him all the therapy he needed, all the things. So for purposes
Exactly.
naman sa mga listeners natin, kung ano bang sabi ng Las Vegas, because Las Vegas almost always never makes a mistake when putting up odds. So according to Las Vegas, the favorites are number 1, the Milwaukee Bucks, number 2, Lakers, number 3, Clippers, and then ang pang-apat, Commissioner, but it is 13 rings down the ladder, is the Houston Rockets. So it's actually basically a 3-way horse race between the Lakers, Clippers, and the Milwaukee Bucks.
As usual, Homer, it's been a very interesting morning. Ang dami naming natutunan, and we certainly will be calling on you dahil painit na ng NBA, and definitely we'll get a lot of scoops from you. All of those home runs. Susundan pa rin ka namin dito sa Twitter, and of course when you come on the show. Maraming salamat, Homer.
Finally, Commissioner, Nike said in the month of March, April, and May, those 3 months, they lost $790 million.
Yes, I read that. Yes, that's right.
Alam ko na, Commissioner, most of it went to you. Okay? Nike pa lang.
Well, you know, I'm Tiger Woods.
Yeah, he's coming back on Thursday.
I know, he's playing in the Memorial. Yeah, definitely. I'll be watching.
Ang akin lang, Commissioner, I don't want to take away your Nike. Ang gusto ko lang talaga, Commissioner, before I go, and then they can cut me off. I want my bicycle! Give me a bicycle!
I wish I could send you a bike. Maraming salamat, Homer. Maraming salamat. Okay. Yan po mga kaibigan ng ating paboritong si Homer Sison, ng ating NBA beat writer, live from Chicago. Sabi nga niya, he was one of the first to get an invite dyan sa Orlando. And well, What a man, what a guy. He turned it down dahil nga sa kanyang pamilya. And that's really putting priorities in the right place. Alright mga kaibigan, at this point, gusto ko lang batiin ang ating mga early viewers dito po mga kaibigan. Si Lita Ababat, magandang umaga sa iyo. Magandang umaga din po kay Alex Fuentes, suki natin yan. Good morning po sa Power and Play at kay Com Noli. Happy weekend po sa inyo. Keep safe watching here in Bacolod City. Uy, si paring Mike Uy, magandang umaga. Joseph, yan ang tawag natin kay Mike Uy. Good morning din kay FIBA Asia Commissioner Daniel Soria, all the way from Baguio. Magandang umaga, Danny. And of course, magandang umaga kay Tonyo Velasco. Joe Taddle, good morning, Power and Play. Sir Com Noli, watching from Antipolo. More power sa inyong programa. God bless. Sa Antipolo, kinakamusta natin lahat ng ating mga taxical drivers dyan. Ha? Taxical, yung pong produkto ng Joyride. Magandang umaga din kay Ronald Katampatan. Nakita na naman po tayo, Boss Noli. Good, God bless po. And of course, patuloy po magpasok kayo ng mga pulso doon sa ating katanungan na sang-ayon ba kayo doon sa closed circuit o yung practice bahay ng PBA. Alright, at this time, nagsimula na pinayagan na ang basketball sa pamamagitan ng PBA na magsimula ang kanilang laro. At ang football, pinayagan na rin po ng IATF. Ang tanong, ano ba nangyayari sa ibang sports? Lalong-lalo na ang mga paborito natin pong mga liga ng volleyball. At makakasama po natin ngayon, well, we were hoping that we could get both of them. But right now, on the line, we will have Mr. Popoy Wico, ang chairman ng Philippine Superliga. Magandang umaga, Chairman Popoy.
Magandang umaga, Noli. Medyo yung signal, medyo fluctuate. Ha? So if I keep on asking you, could you repeat that? You have to excuse me.
No problem, Chairman Popoy. All right. Let me,
No.
go. Don't worry. I will make the questions very clear and slow. Poy, I want to ask lang, what is the PSL doing for the volleyball restart? Kasi nakausap natin si GAB Chairman Baham Mitra last week, and he said that because you are not under the GAB, hindi kayo nakasama. So on your own, what is the PSL doing para masimulan uli ang volleyball?
You will recall several weeks ago, I think almost 2 months ago, I on my own convened a group so that we could come up with a position to be presented to the IATF, to the GAB, to the PSC, and to the POC, together with 6 other NSAs. And our advocacy was just to allow us to first practice, especially the national team. And I represented, of course, at the time, track and field. And then basketball was there. Sonny Barrios of SBP was there. And then Ariel Paredes and Peter Kaiko of LVPI were there. And Adam Milby of rugby football. Of course, Nonong Araneta of football was there. And so was Ricky Lim of Karate Do. And Cynthia Carrion of gymnastics. We came up with a position, and we all submitted it at 12 noon on a Wednesday, asking that we be allowed just to practice, especially the national team. And we submitted our protocols. And I guess that started the ball rolling in the sense of what we were trying to do was to catch the attention of all of the authorities. And we were telling them, look, we did very well in the last SEA Games, and we don't want to lose the momentum. So if you, as they say, if you don't use it, you lose it. So we lobbied, and we are happy that I think we do not want to claim credit for what's going on, but I think that also had some kind of impact on the authorities to listen to us. And we're happy that basketball, professional basketball, and professional football were allowed. And I think other sports also, professional sports were allowed. And right now, we are talking to the DOH, to the PSC, to the IATF. Volleyball, we are saying, is a basically a non-professional sport. Why? You define a professional as somebody who exercises his profession full-time to the exclusion of other activities. Now, in our case, we have a number of teams who have students in their lineup, okay? And the reason why we have students is that when we started 5 years ago, the bench of
Again, mga kaibigan, antabayanan niyo po lang. Titingnan natin kung may babalik natin si... There. Sige, go ahead, Poy. Go ahead, please. Go ahead. Chairman Popoy, go ahead.
Ito na. Okay, Nolly, thank you. The bench of volleyball was very shallow, so we said we should recruit college students. In fact, we have a rule in the PSL that allows teams to recruit maximum of 4 students per team because we don't also want to interrupt or disrupt the studies of the players. So we took a middle ground. So the leagues allowed them. Now, the UAAP for a while allowed them 2 years after playing their stint in the UAAP, they were allowed to play in a commercial league like ours. But now they've tightened up and they said you must finish 85% of your course curriculum before we allow you. So I was talking to Chairman Mitra and even to Mark Velasco of PSC. I said we are not professionals because we do not fit the definition of a professional. Because we have students in the league and we have the data to show it. We have people who work in hotels at that time, and we have people who work in their offices of their teams.
Okay.
We're moving. We'll be meeting with them in the next several days.
Okay, let's go back to the issue of the restart ng volleyball, Chairman Popoy. No? Anong klaseng mga protocol? Alam natin that you are volleyball is a non-contact sport, no? But anong klaseng protocols ang sinabit ninyo to the IATF that will facilitate the return of even practices muna siguro for your volleyball teams and in fact and even the national
practices.
team?
That's what we asked for, practices. Well, we follow the World Health Organization guidelines. We follow the guidelines that the DOH formulated, which is also an adaptation of what the World Health Organization, things like before you enter the court, you must have some kind of medical certificate, okay? You must wash your hands, basically all of these things. And we are even going to choose a venue in accordance with IATF specifications that it will have natural ventilation. So we are staying away from gyms which are air conditioned. We will limit the number of players during practice sessions, maybe 2 or 3 shifts, 6 at a time. And we have the rules already for competitions that we are, in the case of volleyball, we are going to, let's say, we are thinking of removing the rule of not following the rule of change court, so that we don't have to keep on disinfecting different benches. Those are examples. Okay?
Very good. Very interesting. Now, let me ask you about the PSL. Ilan bang tournaments ang inaasahan nyo pa, Chairman Popoy, na you hope to play this year, assuming you're allowed?
Isa na lang. Assuming we're allowed, we can start in September because the teams need at least 2 months of conditioning. So we're looking at September. Okay, of course, it will be held in a non-air conditioned venue. No crowds will be allowed, so it will be closed doors. Okay, so that will last up to December.
In the meantime, Chairman Popoy, obviously a lot of
if we don't have
a lot of teams have been affected by this pandemic, and we're talking about basketball teams, football. Yung isang football team, Ceres FC, has already sold its team. How is the PSL helping its teams cope with the costs of maintaining teams? Meron ba kayong mga rules about cutting salaries, etc., etc.?
Yes. No, it's not a rule. It came from the teams themselves. We called a meeting of the teams. We asked them to come up with their own policies, although we agreed on a 50% salary cut for all players, and the players
50%,
agreed.
Okay.
And provided yes, provided they continue their practices online, and they're undergoing constant monitoring by their team as of this now, as of today, as of this point, as of now. In fact, I know of one team which requires their players to fill up a daily log of their activities, where they're going, whom they're in touch with. In other words, it's part of the process of promoting and protecting and defending the health and safety of all our players and everyone involved in the game, including technical officials, including coaches, ball boys, bench attendants, and all of these people.
All right. Okay, let me go to another topic, Chairman Popoy, and this is about the unity talks that is happening between the PSL and the PVL. We've seen how pag nagsama kayo, the program becomes so vibrant. The national team was exceptional during the Southeast Asian Games at nakita naman natin ang lakas ng puwersa ng mga players. Where is the discussion right now between these two leagues? Are there any continuing agenda that you are pursuing to get to that point na maybe you can have a united front for volleyball?
Well, yes, we are. PSL is in principle for it, subject to the games, no, the conditions, and there are discussions ongoing now between PSL and the proponents of the Unity Cup, mainly Mr. Rafi Villavicencio and Joey Guillermo. There are certain things there that we are commenting on, and we're very interested in this, and our teams are for it, provided certain conditions are met. We're all for it.
In other words,
In fact,
in terms of
this September,
in terms of the united discussion or the unity talks, are you batting for separate tournaments for each one of you, and then meron lang kayong battle of champions, or are you looking at an integrated tournament or a conference where you all come together and play each other?
Yeah. Yes. That is my own and the PSL's own perspective. No, that we play and then we come up with what we call probably best way to call it is a national championship that is sanctioned by the NSA concerned.
Interesting.
And we're for that. Because in the first place, the NSA is supposed to come up with a national championship yearly. No, all NSAs are required to do that. And this is it.
Okay. Talking about that, no, a national championship. I guess one of the issues na maaaring maging very sensitive is the TV coverer issue. Is that also part of the agenda, and also revenue sharing between these two leagues?
Yes, that is part of the agenda, but there is nothing really definite, and it's something that really has to be discussed very fully, because there are recent developments, and we have to factor that into the discussion, no? And very recent developments, and we want to see how this will impact this Unity Cup, and in fact, sports in general, and the PL.
Okay. Let me put on your other hat, Chairman Popoy. You are the president of PATAFA, of course, and alam natin that one of our athletes is going to the Olympics, the EJ Obiena, and there is now a move for the Olympic athletes to retrain. Alam natin, Obiena is training in Italy. What is the latest on
continues
EJ?
to train.
Or what is the latest on EJ? And we understand there are other athletes who may still qualify for the Olympics.
Yes, they have an outside chance, like Christina Knott in the 200 meters, and William Morrison in the shot put, and of course Eric Ray in the 400-meter hurdle. So that's why we have asked the PSC to continue to finance the coaching of these athletes, because it would be a waste if we all of a sudden terminate coaches because of the cost-cutting measures that have been forced by this pandemic. Now, because we've invested a lot on them, and they did very well in the SEA Games, and they're leveling up. So it's just right that we give them all of the chances to either make or break. They're continuing for as long as, given the conditions that they have. Christina is in Florida, which is of course one of the hotbeds of the pandemic in the United States. Eric is training in Texas, in El Paso, which is another area that is hard hit by the pandemic. And William Morrison is training in Iowa, and Natalie Uy is training in Ohio, and of course EJ is training in Formia, Italy, which was also one of the epicenters several months ago.
Well, Chairman Popoy, we certainly hope that EJ is able to get that height that he's running after and going after, and we certainly hope that we can get another medal once again in the Olympics behind the Patafa. Of course, we're hoping volleyball will restart, and finally,
Yes.
we certainly hope that this unity
Yes.
talks will finally come to a very good conclusion para sa Philippine volleyball. Chairman Popoy, marami po salamat.
We're hoping and praying for that. Maraming salamat, Noli. Mabuhay ka.
Stay safe, Popoy, stay safe. Yan po mga kaibigan, si Chairman Popoy Wico ng Philippine Superliga, and of course he is also the president ng Philippine Track and Field Association. Talagang ang dami pong ika nga nangyayari dyan sa larangan na yan, at ating pong inaantabayanan ang mga developments na yan. Lalo na yung unity talks. Ako, I've always been for that. I believe that leagues, we need to put together our resources wherein we can put together the best players in one league para po lalo pang gumanda, lalo pang lumakas ang isang sport. And I think they're on the right track. Huwag lang silang magiging ika nga sakim sa mga gusto nila. Maraming mga sensitive issues dyan. Yung TV coveror, yung pong issue ng hatian ng revenue, yung pong kung ano magiging format, yan dapat talagang masusing pag-aralan. Alright, at this point, before I bring in our next guest, gusto ko ulit paalala sa inyo, meron po tayo patuloy na power and play pa, Jack. Mamaya babanggitin natin yung mga nanalo hindi po to pa contest, yung ating pong bibigyan ulit ng another set of bikes or bisikleta para po doon sa ating programa ngayon pong panahon ng pandemya, paraan po namin para makapagbigay sa ating mga kababayan na nangangailangan. At this point mga kaibigan, isa sa mga mainit na pinag-uusapan, of course, ang hindi lamang yung pagbabalik ng PBA, kung hindi, ang patungkol po sa mga national team concerns. Maraming lumabas na balita tungkol sa ginagawa din ng SBP. Hindi lamang po sa programa, pero kung hindi dun sa pagdidisiplina ng mga ating mga kasama sa national team program. At ngayon po makakasama natin ang ating kaibigan and of course the current executive director ng Samahang Basketball ng Pilipinas, of course a former PBA commissioner, walang iba kundi si Edie Com Sani Barrios. Magandang umaga, Com Sani.
Magandang umaga, Com Noli.
Ako kailangan nating patuloy na maging active. I hope you're staying safe, Com Sani.
Ito, bumabata.
Dapat lang. No, but I hope you're not going out at hindi ka nagpapa-expose. Alam mo naman yung mga itong virus na to.
Sabi nila yung sa edad ko, pag sinabing bumabata, ibig daw sabihin nun, second childhood.
Well, sa mga panayam mo, Com Sani, mukhang hindi dahil talaga naman napaka-sharp pa rin. Let me just ask you a little bit tungkol dun sa just your opinion, no, yung PBA restart. Paano naman yung mga alam natin na ang PBA restart na nagsimula na. Do you agree with the protocols being a former commissioner na ginagawa ni Com Willie?
I'd like to think they are doing the best they can, Com. Hindi ko frankly, I don't have a copy of the detail of program that they have, no? Pero sa nadidinig ko, pati pronouncement ni Com Noli, ni Com Willie natin, hinigpitan nilang mabuti yung protocols, no? Ganun din yung Chooks to Go 3x3.
That's right.
Conferred with Coach Eric. mahigpit nga raw yung mga protocols na gusto nilang sundin. For example, yung tinatawag na parang balikbayan box, door-to-door policy, no?
Oo.
Home to playing venue to home. Walang detour, walang stopover, etc. Importante yon kasi kung nabalitaan natin yung kay Djokovic na nagte-tennis, sabi ko, paano naman nagka-COVID yung mga yun? Magkalayo, no? Nagpapaluan across the court. Ang sabi sa akin, Sir, hindi sa tennis court nagkahawahan yun. After the laro, nagso-socialize, binabiolate ang physical distancing. Kaya nagka-COVID sila. So yun yung isa sa mga kailangang iwasan sa mga protocol.
Cobb, talking about that, alam naman natin na ang PBA magsisimula na ng kanilang practices. Sabi mo nga, pati yung 3x3, at least kahit papano nadamay. Paano naman po yung ating national teams? Ano ang latest? Ang national team ba ay magkakaroon ng green light also to conduct their own practices, Comsani?
Well, right now, ang status, si President Al Panlilio will call a meeting with Program Director Pat Baldwin and ourselves, no? Kami nila Butch Antonio, who is our Deputy ED and Director for Operations, to discuss how to move forward the national team program.
So right now, there is still in limbo pa yung national team. Wala naman urgency, in other words.
Correct, wala pa. Although merong naka-tentative na yung window na tinatawag ko, no, sa November, Korea and Thailand, those are away games, meaning kailangan pumunta tayo sa Korea at pumunta tayo sa Thailand. So itong basketball natin, dalawa yung importanteng sunurin natin. One is yung guidelines ng FIBA tungkol sa return to basketball, and the other one is yung regulasyon ng ating gobyerno, ng mga authorities natin, no? Yan yung medyo konting what's the term, medyo sensitive. For example, kung halimbawang may pa-tournament na si FIBA, pero yung ating government regulations will not allow us to, one, practice, and two, travel abroad to compete, then may konting dilemma doon, ano, kumbaga. Kailangan magtama yung dalawa eh. Ko-comply tayo sa IF natin, ko-comply din siyempre tayo sa regulasyon ng otoridad.
And so, anong ginagawa ng SBP tungkol dyan, Comsani? Are you informing constantly ang FIBA Asia na ito ang aming patakaran dito sa aming bansa eh. So medyo mahirap pa sa amin itong window na ito, or are we already just hoping na lalo pang lumuwag ang ating mga restrictions and hopefully tayo ay maka-participate pa rin. Ano ang planning ninyo dyan, Comsani?
Yeah, well, we are very much in touch with FIBA, no? Both FIBA Geneva at saka yung sa zone natin, FIBA Asia. In fact, we had to beg off in a August tournament na 3x3 ladies, no? Kasi sinabi namin, number one nga, hindi pa tayo pinapayagang mag-practice, no? So at that time, nung binibigyan tayo ng deadline nung, if I remember right, early June, wala pa, may travel restrictions pa abroad. So we had to beg off. Naiintindihan naman nilang lahat, ano? Sa government side naman, we have written IATF, we have copied PSC, POC, GAB, nung ating guidelines na gustong sunurin based on FIBA guidelines.
Yeah.
Lately, FIBA, just 3 days ago, we received a circular from the Secretary General lifting what they refer to as preventive measure on international competition. So, nilift na nila yung ban on international competitions, no?
Oh, good. Oh, okay.
Having said that, parati nilang sinasabi, always in compliance with local authorities. So naiintindihan nila na kung ang isang bayan may problema pa sa kanilang lugar, hindi pa pwedeng bumiyahe, hindi nila sasanctionin.
Okay. Okay, that's good. All right. Talking about that, and our continuous communication sa FIBA Asia, alam naman natin ang nangyari kay Coach Tab Baldwin with respect to his statements, and na-fine na nga siya ng PBA. He's been reprimanded by the SBP. We've read na although all of this, he remains as the program director ng ating national team. But ang tanong ko, Kamsani, is with these statements directed to the FIBA, has this in any way affected ang relasyon natin sa FIBA or FIBA Asia for that matter? Have they reacted in any way to those statements and pinadala sa inyo sa SBP? Well,
si President Al Panlilio, who is in constant talks with Secretary General Saglis on different programs, no, ng FIBA together with the Philippines. In fact, Al Panlilio is one of 3 or 4 advisors organized by Secretary Saglis on e-sports, no? So
yes, that's right.
Marami silang pinag-uusapan nung time na ang term ba natin pumutok yung tabal.
Kasagsagan.
Napag-usapan nila, no? Napag-usapan nila 'yun. So ano naman, we continue to have very strong relationship with FIBA kasi alam mo naman na medyo marami na tayong representation, no? Nasa Central Board MVP, nasa FIBA Asia Board si President Al Panlilio natin, nasa Competitions Commission ng FIBA Asia si Butch natin, at chairman ng Legal Commission ng FIBA sa Geneva si Attorney Aga natin, no? So all of those positions, official positions at FIBA level augurs well for the relationship.
Very good. Well, talking about that, and alam naman natin that we're going to be hosting the 2023 FIBA World Cup. I know, well, hindi ko pwede sabihin it's too early because all of a sudden, yung 2023, nandyan na yan, Komsani, no? So, what are the next important milestone dates para sa inyo sa SBP? I know that you're already very busy. May nakabasa ako about even yung marketing, yung mga logos, pinaghahandaan nyo na. But in terms of your preparations, what are the most next important milestone dates para sa SBP, Komsani?
Nabanggit mo yan 2023. Ang totoo niyan, in spite of the lockdown, nako, super busy dyan. Simply because yung FIBA, mayat-maya, naka-videocon tayo with them, ano? In-appoint nila si Mr. David Cracker, who is the Zone Executive Director for Oceania. Ang daming posisyon nun Zone Executive Director ng Oceania. Siya rin yung head ng FIBA Singapore office at ngayon siya yung 2023 Executive Director or point person ng FIBA for 2023. So parati kaming nagvi-videocon, tayo naman upon the instructions of Mr. Panghilinan, we have a regular conference with our partners, Japan and Indonesia. On our own, hindi kasama FIBA, no? Just for bonding purposes and getting to know each other and brainstorming, no? So yun ang nangyayari. Mga logo like you mentioned, na nagkaroon ng mga studies dyan, nag-pitch several international agencies. To make a long story short, may napili na. Siyempre, hindi pa natin marireveal, no? May napili apat na, yung tatlong co-host at ang FIBA, may napili ng logo, event logo for 2023. Pinapalis lang ng ad agency.
Let me ask you. So in other words, ito, I guess my final question on this is, in other words, Comsani, talagang itong hosting na to, everything is discussed and it will really be very actively participated in by Japan and Indonesia. Talagang ito, kumbaga, hindi lang tayo ang punong abala dito. Japan and Indonesia are there all the way, from the preparations of the logo to maybe the whatever the needs and requirements na kailangan ng FIBA. All of these will have to be discussed and approved by your group with Japan and Indonesia.
Yes, ang parang ano yan eh. Ang pagka-picture sa atin ni FIBA Treasurer Ingo Weiss from Germany, ang sabi niya nung nanalo tayo ng bidding com, Sunny, parang ano yan, yung journey nyo from this time na nanalo kayo ng bidding hanggang 2023, i-picture mo, nasa isa kayong kotse, no, bumibiyahe, kayong tatlong magpa-partner, pero kayong Pilipinas ang nasa driver seat.
Yun.
So, kayo
Oo.
ang, kung idadaan nyo sa lubak-lubak o idadaan nyo sa magandang kalye, nasa sa inyo, kayo ang may hawak ng manibela. Pero pasahero din yung dalawa. So kayong tatlo mag-uusap po. So that's how we're doing it, no? We are taking the initiative to call the meetings and get the ideas of our partners. Maganda ang relationship so far.
Very good. Well, mabuti na lang at ang MVP group ay nasa highways. Tuloy, maganda ang kalye natin papuntang 2023. Comsani, maraming salamat sa panahon mo, ha? And we'll keep on bothering you at tututukan natin itong mga nangyayari because obviously karangalan ng Pilipinas ang nakataya dito. Maraming salamat, Comsani.
Salamat din sa invitasyon. Ingat ka, Com.
Stay safe, Comsani. Alright, mga kaibigan. Yan po si Executive Director Sunny Barrios ng Samahang Basketball ng Pilipinas. Pinag-uusapan natin yung kanilang paghahanda. Of course, sa mga pagsisimula na rin ng national team. Well, wala pa naman daw very urgent matters. Of course, wala pa tayong actual national coach. Although si Mark Dickel ay mukhang siya pa rin ang in charge ng Gilas Pilipinas. We'll take a quick break dito po sa Power and Play. At mamaya po, makakasama pa natin Coach Derek Pumaren ng De La Salle University at ang mga teammates or ang ating magiging koponan sa FIDE Online Chess Olympics sa pagbabalik po ng Power and Play. Hatid sa inyo ng Big Boss Cement at ng Cherry Loom, ang yerong may aluminum. We're back for our second hour, mga kaibigan. Again, we'd like to say hello to all of our listeners sa 92.3 News FM, sa mga nanonood po sa atin sa 1PH Channel 1 on Signal TV, and of course sa Facebook Live and the Noli Iyala YouTube channel. Please like my page and subscribe. Of course, sundan nyo din po ako sa Instagram at sa Twitter, Noli Iyala. Ganun kasimple. Pero yun na, ang ating pong pupulsuhan ay yung pong katanungan na sangayon ba kayo? Sa tingin nyo ba magiging epektibo itong closed circuit ng PBA, yung bahay, practice facility bahay sa pagpapasimula puli ng ating pong PBA season? Well, ito po yung ibang nagpadala na sa inyo, ha? Tingnan natin, hindi naman mababasa lahat ito. But good morning, Sir Noli. Mas maganda sana kung kakayanin ay gawin bubble concept kagaya sa NBA para mas makontain sila sa isang lugar, mas mababa ang percent ng mahawa sila sa COVID. Robert Hoson po ito, masugid ninyong taga-subaybay. Maraming salamat, Robert. Ang problema dyan, napakamahal nung bubble concept ng NBA. Mantakin nyo lahat yun, yung mahigit 300 na player, tapos mga personnel pa, kailangan mong i-house sa isang lugar. Hindi ko alam kung merong ganyang klaseng facility sa ating bansa. Good morning, Com Noli. Pwede ang bahay venue, bahay practice sa PBA basta with strict health protocols mula kay Olfs Orbistondo watching from Barobo, Surigao del Sur. Marami pong salamat. Well, kailangan talaga. Kahit naman sa bagay, hindi lang po ang PBA. Let's observe strictly ang health protocols. I'm watching every Saturday. Much better if the player went to hotel practice. Parang gusto niya, isa lang area din sila. Medyo anonymous ito. Mula kay Miko Santos, hindi po kayang sundin yung bahay playing venue closed circuit. Nakakainip po sa bahay at ang mangyayari ay bahay, mall, gym, palengke, restaurant, kape, playing venue. Yan po daw mangyayari, sabi ni Miko Santos. Ako, I tend to agree, dahil alam mo naman tayo mga Pilipino, minsan na hindi tayo pwedeng basta manatili sa isang lugar. Pero again, dito po sa panahon natin, hindi po biro-biro ang magkasakit, mga kapatid. Kailangan po tayo ay mag-ingat talaga. Maraming salamat sa lahat po ng nagpadala ng inyong mga komentaryo. Meron pa. May mga pagbati tayo mamaya. Babatiin natin lahat ito. In the meantime, gusto ko po magpasalamat sa lahat ng ating mga tagapagtaguyod, ang ating po mga sponsors na patuloy na sumusuporta sa Power and Play already on our third year, mga kaibigan. Pangatlong taon na natin. Of course, maraming salamat sa Big Boss Cement, Big Boss sa Tibay, Big Boss Cement. Maraming salamat po kay Engineer Gilbert Cruz at ang buong staff ng Big Boss Cement. Pag kailangan nyo sa inyong mga proyekto, matibay na kasama, Big Boss Cement, Big Boss sa Tibay. Marami din po salamat sa Cherry Loom, ang yerong may aluminum for your roofing requirements sa inyong pong mga projects, sa inyong mga bahay. Cherry Loom, lalo-lalo na sa tag-ulan. Gusto ko po magpasalamat kay pareng Elmer Ngo na kahapon ay kasama natin. Maraming salamat. Cherry Loom, ang yerong may aluminum. Thank you also to Elms Resto Bar Group, home of native itik, is now open in all 4 branches. Alas 10 po hanggang, I think, hanggang alas 8 na sila ngayon. Diyan po sa Capitolio, Pasig, sa Calle Bistro, Commonwealth, Quezon City. Tawag lang po dyan sa Calle Bistro, 028-240-2032. Meron din po sila sa Robinsons, Novaliches. And of course, sa Poblacion, Makati. Sundan din nyo po ang Elms Resto Bar Group sa kanilang Facebook and Instagram for your advance orders. Thank you also sa mga kasama natin sa Joyride. Ang bago nyong kasundo, use Joyride Delivery and Pabili when buying from your favorite shops and restaurants. Now at our lowest prices ever. You can book all your delivery needs at sisiguraduhin po namin that your goods will safely reach your destination in no time. Available throughout Metro Manila at sa mga ilang lugar ng Rizal, Cavite, Bulacan at Laguna. Download now, Joyride, and happy move and enjoy the happy and joyful experience. Ang yung bagong kasundo. Meron po kaming bagong mga produkto, Taxikel, dyan sa Antipolo. Marami din po salamat sa MP School of Makeup Artistry, ang Makiledge School of Makeup and Artistry, our official hair and makeup sa Power and Play. And of course, gusto ko po magpasalamat sa Skin Clinic, your face and body anti-aging center. Do you have any skin concerns? Skin Now has online consultation from Mondays to Saturdays. Bukas na rin po sila sa Alabang. Kailangan lang po ninyong mag-advance booking. Text with details pag may mga skin concerns, 0917-890-1640. We can also accept orders for your needed skin. And of course, mag-advance rin po kayo, mag-advance booking para sa mga appointments niyo for your skin concerns kay Dr. Gisela Sarmiento and Doc Richie Sarmiento. Thank you so much sa lahat po ng ating mga nakaagapay sa Power and Play on our third year. Again, yung pong ating Power and Play Pajak, yung ating pong programa, mamaya sasabihin natin kung sino ang mga tatanggap ng ating next set of bicycles. Alright, at this point mga kaibigan, we are ready for our next set of guests. Alam niyo po, meron ngayong nulunsad ang FIDE dahil nga dito po sa pandemya, nakansila o na-postpone yung pong Chess Olympiad na dapat gaganapin sa Moscow. Instead, naglunsad po ang FIDE, yung pong International Chess Federation, ng tinatawag na Online Chess Olympics. Noong July lang ito kagad in-announce, but yet ang Pilipinas po handang-handa dahil dito sa ating mga makakapanay ngayon. Walang iba kundi ang ating mga miyembro ng Philippine team, si Grandmaster Darwin Lailo, si International Master Haridas Pascua, at si International Master Paulo Bersamin. Good morning, gentlemen. Magandang umaga sa inyo lahat.
Magandang umaga po sa inyo. And,
Morning po.
Maraming salamat.
Viewers.
Maraming salamat for coming on. Unang-una, hindi ba may labang kayo ngayon, Darwin? Meron na ba kayong qualifying today?
Yes sir, 10 a.m. pa naman po.
Okay, 10 a.m. So bibilisan ko to para hindi na mawala yung utak ninyo, ha? Let me go to you quickly, Darwin. No? You are a two-time national champion and you're now in this rapid online. Are you confident? In fact, one of the people na kasali dito is Joey Antonio, no? Na tinalo mo last month. Are you confident na ikaw ang pwede mag-qualify para dito sa FIDE Online Olympics?
Excited po sa mangyayari today hanggang bukas. Kasi halos lahat po may chance. Kasi kung sino man po manalo, deserve naman po mag-represent sa FIDE Online Olympiad.
All right, Paulo, you are also a winner of back-to-back tournaments sa ating online chess series, yung Philippine Bullet Chess Championship. Bakit sobrang komportable ka tila sa Rapid? And is this something na pinaghahandaan mo talaga, Paulo?
Medyo ano lang po siguro, mas gusto ko po yung shorter time controls kaysa sa mas mahaba. So sa online po kasi bira yung classical chess na long game. So yun po, kaya almost lahat ng time control may sila.
Okay. Haridas, I know that you have already acquired your third GM norm almost 5 years ago. At kailangan mo lang mag-breach dun sa 2,500 na rating, no? Is this part of the motivation, and will this tournament actually count para sa rating mo, just in case you do well and maybe get finally yung elusive na GM title na hinahangad mo?
As of now po kasi Rapid po yung event, so iba po yung rating po sa Rapid and iba rin po yung
Alright.
rating sa Standard.
Okay, but that is part of the motivation, I suppose, no, para sa iyo, Haridas, no?
Para po syempre training po, maganda pong training kasi top players po yung mga makakalaban. So
Oo.
ano po talaga, exciting.
Alam mo, itong tournament na to, itong online, was only announced noong July 1. And now we're doing a qualifying. Mga kaibigan, kung hindi niyo po alam, ang lalahok po dito ay 6 na player, pero may mga requirements sila, no? May kailangan na it's a mixed format. Kailangan ng babae, kailangan ng 2 junior, and of course may mga reserves, no? And kayo, Darwin, Haridas, and of course, Paolo, you're all in this qualifying tournament this weekend para pumasok dyan. Let me ask you, all of you, paano kayo naghanda for this particular tournament? And I suppose to be part of that team that will play in an Olympics ng FIDE. I'll begin with you, Darwin.
Yes, sir. Halos last year pa rin kami prepared kasi last year pa rin yung elimination namin para sa Chess Olympiad, kaya lang hindi nga po natuloy dahil sa pandemic. Pero buti na lang may online pa rin, tuloy pa rin po yung laro ng mga players.
Paolo, were you already preparing dito? Dahil alam naman natin, you were supposed to be part of that World Chess Olympiad sa Moscow. Pero again, na-cancel lang yan, no? So, handang-handa ka na ba talaga?
Para sa qualifying naman, nag-practice lang po at konting review ng mga dati na pong naaral. So, handa na po.
Ikaw naman, Haridas, ano naging reaction mo doon sa cancellation ng Chess Olympiad where you were supposed to be part of the team?
Namin kasi sure kung kami pa rin po yung sa next year. Parang to be announced pa rin po, pero syempre, lagi pong as a Philippine team member, lagi po talagang handa kahit ano pong mangyari. Anytime.
Okay. Iba ba ang preparation ng ninyo for an actual over the board from an online? Iba ba yung training na yan? And maybe I'll start with you, Darwin. Iba ba ang paghahanda niyan? Dahil sabi nyo nga, iba ang oras dyan, yung time control.
Yes, sir. Lalong ibang-iba kasi minsan pwede pong mouse slip, may mga ganun chance. Kaya sa cellphone, biglang magkamali. Hindi tulad po sa over the board, talagang hawak mo talaga yung pyesa bago i-move. Kaya medyo kailangan mag-adjust din po talaga.
Paolo, iba ba ang strategies dyan? And iba ba ang rules? Or is it just the same? In the sense na pare-pareho lang naman ang ginagamit ninyong strategy?
Para sa akin naman, parang mas magiging careful ka kung over the board kasi ito sa online, sobrang dami ng online tournaments. Maaaring mag-risk ka or mag-experiment ka ng something new sa isang tournament. Pero sa over the board, talagang iingatan mo yung laro at yung rating mo, iingatan mo rin. So, ibang-iba po talaga.
And of course, Haridas, iba ba yung na hindi mo nakikita personal, physically, yung kalaban mo kaysa sa nakaharap mo mismo at nakikipag tinginan sa iyo sa mata? Is that a different feeling when you prepare and when you actually compete?
Opo, as online po kasi parang mas less po yung pressure, tsaka less po yung kaba kasi may parang may presence yung kumbaga pag over the board po medyo kakabahan pa kayo eh. May mga nerves. Pero dito po at least sa bahay, medyo komportable, so less po yung pressure at least sa online.
Do you share the same sentiment, Darwin? Kasi ikaw mas experience ka diyan. You've been in so many Olympics, no? And ika nga nauso lang naman tong online fairly recently compared to the actual over the board. So mas pressured ba pag yung ang kaharap mo talagang grandmaster taga Russia na talagang alam mo magandang application?
Apo, lalo na pagka nasa World Cup, katapat nyo mga 2,700, halos 2,800 na. Talagang yung magkaharap pa lang kayo, talagang kakabahan ka na. Parang may energy agad siya na nilalabas agad eh. Hindi tulad pagka online, hindi mo makita yung presence niya tsaka yung aura niya. Hindi masyadong nakakaba.
Okay. Alam naman natin that some players, some top players natin sa ating Philippine chess ay nag-giveaway, no? Halimbawa si John Paul Gomez, he gave way. Ganon din si Julio Zadora, he gave way para makapasok ang ilang players natin including Joey Antonio. Now, nasurpresa ba kayo? Nasurpresa ka ba, Paolo, na itong sila John Paul Gomez at si Julio Zadora ay hindi sumama, instead binigay ang kanilang pwesto sa mga iba pang mga GM?
Medyo yung kay Julio Zadora po kasi parang dati na rin po siya nag-giveaway, and sabi niya yun nga, gusto niya pong pagsasali siya ng tournament, kaya gusto niya prepared siya. So normal lang po yung kay Gomez po, yun po medyo nakaka-surprise. Pero yung reason naman po niya na sa Rapid Chess, parang mas malakas daw si GM Joey Antonio sa kanya. So parang nakaka-surprise lang yung decision kasi parang biglaan eh. So yun po.
Okay. At ngayon, sabi nga natin, meron kayong qualifying tournament, no? Ito po yung 6 kayo that only 4 will be selected to join the team dun sa World Rapid Online Chess Olympics. No? So, ang tanong ko, I'll start with you, Haridas, this is a very strong field. Anong expectation mo dito sa qualifying tournament at sino kinakatakutan mo?
Sa top players. Syempre po, to be honest, since top players po yung kalaban, so hindi naman po siguro takot, pero yung parang may tendency po talaga na kahit sino po is pwede po mag-champion. Kasi po since top players. And syempre, yung expectation ko po is at least po sana ma-qualify. Pero syempre, hindi po masabi. Pero I'm making sure po na or parang ibibigay ko po lahat ng best ko para ma-qualify po.
Darwin?
For at least. Or kung hindi man pala rin, happy na rin ako kasi naging part ako itong playoffs namin. Tsaka masarap din magsusubaybay pa rin sa laro nila July 22 hanggang August 30.
And of course, Paolo?
Tulad po ng sinabi ni Harry, malalakas din po lahat. So, parang yung pressure na nawawala. Kasi nga, kahit sino pumasok, almost same strength po, ganun, magkakalapit lang. Talagang, kung sino yung nasa condition sa tournament na to, yun yung papasok. At eventually, deserving talaga yung papasok po para sa magre-represent sa Philippines sa online Olympiad.
Alam natin na meron ding under 20 at saka na babae and of course lalaki na dapat pumasok. Would you know kailan yung qualifying din ng under 20? Is there a qualifying or ito pipiliin na lang ba? Darwin?
Same din po yata yung schedule ng playoffs nila. Ngayon din po tsaka.
Ngayon din. Okay. So maglalaban-laban din sila. Alright. Recently, si Sander Severino won a world championship in, of course, in the physically disabled na tournament for rapid chess. And it seems like rapid chess is now becoming very, very popular. Lalong-lalo na sa panahon ng pandemya. Is this something that you are supportive of or mas preferred pa rin ninyo ang over the board? I'll ask you muna, Harry.
Sa akin po siguro, mas prefer ko pa rin po syempre yung over the board kasi doon po magkakaroon po tayong titles, Grandmaster, International Master, and so on. While online po, although may kinakandak din po yung FIDE na rated tournaments, pero iba po yung over the board na tournaments, which is mas pinaprioritize po.
Paolo?
Sa akin naman po, yung over the board, syempre, iba, tulad nga ng sinabi ni Harry, iba pa rin po talaga. Pero yung, doon sa oras, rapid chess kasi yung mabilisan lang po compared to classical chess. Siguro po, mas maganda yung faster time controls para mas sumikat pa yung chess kasi compare natin sa ibang sports, talagang konti lang yung audience ng chess. Siguro kung mas bibilisan nila, mas magiging action, magiging exciting panoorin. So, ako po, supporta po ako doon na dadamihan pa yung faster time control tournaments. Mapa-online po or pa-over the board.
Very good point. To make the sport of chess become more spectator friendly. Darwin, ikaw, anong position mo? Darwin?
For me, sir, siyempre as of now, wala naman po choice yung mga players kundi mag-online talaga. Kaya kung ano po yung binibigay ng pagkakataon saka ng panahon. Yun po tayo.
Okay. My final question to you is, marami tayong nakikita na Filipino chessers na puro US-based. Alam naman natin na si Joey Antonio is US-based. Mark Paragua, of course, we've seen Wesley so migrate to the US. Ano ba to? Coincidence ba to na napunta lang sila sa Amerika or by necessity dahil hindi masyadong maraming tournament dito, kulang ang prize money na kailangan pa sigurong magkaroon ng bigger tournaments para talaga maging total career for you guys ang chess, ang paglalaro ng chess. I'll begin with you, Darwin, because ikaw ang pinaka-experience dito.
For me po kasi yung mga ibang GMs po natin kaya nagpunta po sa abroad. Unang-una po siguro yung sa work po talaga tsaka sa sweldo po. Tsaka yung talagang kasi masyadong patas ang expenses. Kaso yung sweldo medyo mababa po. Hindi tulad pag mag-abroad sila, at least makapagturo sila sa ibang mga players. Medyo malaki yung salary nila. Tsaka para support po sa family din. Kaya malaking factor po talaga yung financial po.
What about you, Harry? Ikaw ba, do you see yourself na susundan itong mga GM na to na pupunta ka rin ng US?
As of now po, wala pong balak. Wala pong balak. Pero as of now po kasi, nag-ano po ako turo po ng students. At the same time po yung tournaments. So, tingin ko po medyo okay na po ako doon. So, hindi na po siguro
What about you?
ng US.
And you, Paolo, do you think that chess can be a full-time career para sa'yo?
Siguro po kahit po andito lang, pero ang ano po doon, siguro nga tama po yung point ni GM Darwin yung, at saka ni Harry, yung pupunta sa ibang bansa yung iba para nga magturo din. Kasi nga, yung income po nila parang kulang na po, lalo na pag nagkakapamilya, ganun po. Siguro naman po, kahit nandito lang, kahit pwede pa rin career kasi po, marami pa rin naman GM na naka-base dito. And si GM Joey Antonio po ata dito po naka-base sa Pilipinas.
Okay. Stand corrected. Well, I wish you all the luck dito sa inyong, you have about 30 minutes to prepare sa inyong qualifying tournament. Sino ba magkakalaban ngayon? Magkalaban ba kayo? Kayong tatlo?
Mamaya pa po, sir.
Magkalaban?
Di pa po,
Sige.
di pa po.
Di ba alam ang schedule? Good luck sa inyong tatlo. And please continue to represent our country. Kailangan natin sa panahon na to ang mga ikakatulad nyo na nagbibigay karangalan sa ating bayan. Maraming salamat, Darwin, Harry, and Paolo sa inyong pagsama.
Yeah, thank you, Sir Noli.
Thank you so much. Yan po mga kaibigan, si Grandmaster Darwin Lilo, si International Master Harry Das Pascua at si International Master Paolo Bersamin. May comment dito si Gilbert Buenaventura. Chess matches can be done with players online. It must go on. Yeah, talaga naman. Dapat lang. Dahil alam naman natin kung gaano kapopular ang chess online ngayon sa panahon na to. Alright, we'll take a very quick break. Sa aming pagbabalik, makakapanayam natin ang head coach ng De La Salle University, si Coach Derek Pomaren. Ito po ang Power and Play, hatid sa inyo ng Big Boss Cement, Big Boss Atibay at Cherry Loom, ang yerong may aluminum. Isang magbate kay Mami Virginia Fermina from San Pedro Laguna, from Cecil Fermin, isa pong nanonood sa atin. Hello also to Love Viraya, ang ating mga kasama sa SBP, si Gab Ferreras, ang aming nakasama dati, and of course, mga lahat po ng mga nanonood. Mamaya, babatiin pa natin kung may oras tayo. At this point, mga kaibigan, we're very fortunate, no need for introductions. A decorated coach, a well-respected coach, and of course, now the head coach ng De La Salle University. Ang tawag sa kanya, Manong Derek. Ang tawag ko, Coach Derek Pumaren. Coach, magandang umaga.
Good morning, Com. Long time no see.
Oh, long time no see, Coach. Ba, nakaberde ka. That's good to know.
Yeah. Medyo green na ngayon.
Oo.
Last time mga pink dahil CEU.
Oo nga. Kaya nga gusto ko malaman niya. Okay, let me ask you muna, Coach Derek.
Yes.
Obviously, second tour of duty with La Salle. But before I ask you about this, let me ask you lang yung proseso. Alam ko kasi nung bandang Disyembre, ang La Salle ay naghahanap talaga ng coach, no? At that time, no, there was a search that was being made. And how was this post offered to you? Ikaw ba sinabi niya na sa'yo mag-apply ka? Did you seek it out? And what was your reaction nung sinabing sa'yo na?
Well, actually, the position was offered to me. I think that was like early November. Early November pa. I think
Okay.
November or October, something like that. I talked to Rafi Villavicencio regarding if they wanted the Malik Diop of isa CU import namin.
Yes. Oh.
And then sabi ni they were in Japan, I think, when I texted si Rafi Villavicencio, and then told me that si Terry Capistrano will meet me that week. Yes, Terry, the other manager. So nung nag-meet kami, and I was surprised that it was offered to me yung job for head coach for La Salle, no? So nagkaroon ng negotiation actually right before Christmas, natapos na. It's a done deal. It was a done deal na.
Okay.
So, kaya lang, nag-ano lang ang CEO, yung team owner, sila JJ, na i-hold muna ang announcement until we get back to our practice. Kasi CEO was practicing, I think, January, something, first week of January. So, pinagbigyan ng La Salle na ganun ang usapan, and then after that, in-announce na namin yung January 4th, 8th yata or something like that. Yeah.
So it was, in other words, ito naman a mutual parting of ways with CEU, no? Obviously, no? Wala namang...
Yes.
It was an expired contract o talagang...
No. I don't really have a contract with
okay. So parang
with JJ, parang close family, you know. Tama yan. So, even the president of La Salle called him that regarding that. So, kasi La Salista din si JJ.
Okay, so, yung usapan ninyo with Terry Capistrano, with Rafi Villavicencio, were there any marching orders? May mga sinet ba na goals for you? And on your part, were there any promises? Promises made to the La Salle community?
No. I cannot promise anything, you know. A coach cannot guarantee a championship, but it comes with the acceptance of the job, di ba? As a head coach ng La Salle, na to win the championship. Siyempre, hindi naman mukha ng coach yan na hindi. Medyo masama lang ang position for the last 2 seasons dahil we're out of the Final Four, no? So right now, ang immediate goal ng team is to make it to the Final Four. And you know, I didn't accept the job just for the job. You know, I came here to win. I came here to help La Salle, no, get back to the Final Four and eventually winning the championship.
Okay. So this is your second tour of duty sa La Salle, Coach. You were there at the start of La Salle's campaign sa UAAP. You gave La Salle the first ever UAAP championship ng eskwelahan, and you had back-to-back championships, of course, back in the late 80s, 89, 90 to be exact. How different, Coach Derek, itong pangalawa mong tour of duty from your first? I mean, ang feeling man lang. Let's start with that. What does this mean for you, and how different is the feeling for this second time?
Well, ang ano niyan, ang totoo niyan, parang I had a gut feel that I'm gonna be back, no, with LaSalle, the two coaches. So parang when LaSalle coaching job got vacant, parang ang feeling ko that I'll be going back to coach LaSalle. So I don't know why, no, parang siguro it was in God's time that I'll be handling LaSalle again. So para bang ang the way I see it, that God prepared me for this job, no. I handled I was supposed to be just the general manager of CEU, but all of a sudden there was a change of coach right before D-League, so I had to handle CEU. So parang piniprepare niya ako for the big time, and which is going back to, I mean, it's the same. It was a great feeling, and parang to get back and bring something back again to LaSalle, kasi I've been there at the start ng UAP. I was the first head coach ng UAP team ng LaSalle. But there's more pressure now.
I was gonna ask you that kasi siyempre pangalawa mo na to eh. Alam nila,
Yes.
champion coach ka, you brought a championship to LaSalle, and
Yes.
and all of a sudden wala nga sila sa Final Four, no? I mean, LaSalle has not been in the Final Four for the last 2 years. Mas malaki yung
Yes.
pressure siguro.
Mas malaki ang pressure, definitely. Nung tinanggap ko naman to at saka pinagsipan ko, I know what I'm getting into, no. So it is not, as I've said a while ago, na hindi ako nandito for the coaching job lang, no? I'm here to win, no. I'm here to win. So yun ang trabaho ko talaga eh. kasama ng trabaho ng coaching yan eh.
Ang pressure, coach. Sabi nga nila,
Yes, kasama yan.
yun daw ang job description coaching, pressure. Yun ang ibig sabihin.
Coaching, yes.
Okay, let me ask you, kasi you were very successful, Coach Derek, nung panahon ng 80s, no? Alam naman natin yan. Although nagsimula slowly, eventually it picked up, and the program became very successful para sa LaSalle.
Yes.
Ano ang mga leksyon na nakuha mo or that you learned back in your first tour that are still applicable sa tingin mo sa iyong pagbalik sa LaSalle program?
Well, I think number one, still we need to play disciplined basketball, no? And so far parang yun ang medyo nawala sa LaSalle, no? And it might sound like an old school, but still discipline is there. In order for you to win, you have to have discipline, not just inside the court but also off the court, no? Kasi kailangan ng player yan, dahil that is where you make big shots. That is where you don't make mistakes when you play disciplined basketball, because if you just gang ho, then eventually matatalo ka rin, di ba? Even though you've got a more talented lineup than the other teams. And I think Ateneo so far has been very successful in the last 2-3 years. It's because of Coach Tab has done a good job instilling discipline with their team.
Okay. What is the difference, Coach Derek, and the similarity nung mga teams na in-inherit mo as you enter? Back in 86, and now ito na inherit mo itong team in 2020. Ano sa tingin mo ang differences in terms of strength, in terms of character, in terms of maturity, and of course also ano naman ang similarities nitong mga koponan na nakukuha mo ngayon?
Well, I think the difference is during my time, medyo mahirap mag-recruit, di ba? Nung 80s, mahirap mag-recruit kung sino naman kung talaga. And then there's yung talagang blue chip. Yeah. So I have to start from scratch during that time. At saka talent noon, siguro I would say mas magagaling na player ngayon, dahil it's because of there are a lot of good coaches now. So mas maraming na-develop na players. So itong na-inherit kong team is more, I would say, mas himay, di ba? Mas nahimay na player compared to that time. Kasi ito talagang piling-pili. During nung start ng UAP ng LaSalle, kung sino lang mapunta na sa amin, kung sino lang available, then you just have to make the most out of it, di ba? So,
Oo.
nung
Oo.
ano lang, nakuha ko lang ng mga ISO, sila Linford, di ba? Sila
Oh, yan.
Cartel,
Oh.
those
Oh.
like
Of
the
course,
guys, yung mga,
yung Lago Brothers, nakuha mo yan.
yeah, Lago Brothers, nandyan
oh.
yan. Tapos, of course, Dino was there already, di ba? Nung,
Right.
nung
Well,
coach-
Tony Boy
coach start
Espinosa
coach.
from Bacolod also, nakuha mo rin
Yes,
yan. Of
Tony
course.
Boy, we were able to recruit him because he's from, he's from Iloilo actually.
Iloilo,
Tony
yes,
Boy,
yes.
Iloilo yan, no? Dahil I'm from Iloilo and then si Coach Gabby Velasco,
Oo.
assistant coach ko, siya nakapag-recruit kay Tony Boy.
All right.
So, yun ang major difference niya, yung talent niya, yung recruitment namin. Mas
So would
mahirap
you say
kaysa ngayon.
would you say, Coach Derek, na yung nakukuha mong team ngayon mas buo, mas solid na kesa nung back in the 86 team na nakuha mo? Ito parang konting kumpuni na lang palaban na.
Yes, kasi I don't know if you remember, during the time, nung bago pumasok ang UAP ang Lasal, we had a strong team. Sila
Yes.
Almario, if you
Yes.
si Franz.
NCC.
We had a strong team.
Yung
Yes,
naging
NCC,
core ng
di
NCC.
ba? Yes. Yes, yung naging core ng NCC. Pero ang hindi namin nakuha lahat yun nung pagpasok ng 86 eh. Yung iba nawala na. Ang nakapaglaro lang ng first UAP, si Franz.
Yes.
So, isa lang si Franz, kalaban. Mahihina yung mga kasama namin, di ba? Kung sino-sino naman, power forward, mga 6'1", 6'2" lang nung araw eh. Pero ngayon, ngayon medyo buo, no? Mas solid tong team na to, talagang mas napili. They have experience playing in the UAP. They've gone good training nung high school, so it's a different team. No?
Okay, let's talk about your team now. Sabi mo nga, ito, mas solid na to. Who are among the carryovers? Yung mga naiiwan. Of course, we know Aljun Melencio will be there. Balti Baltasar will still be there.
Yes.
But sino sa tingin mo ang will have the step out year? The big year for the Archers? At sa tingin mo, Coach Derek, kaninong team ito? Whose team is this talaga? Who is the leader of this team?
All right, now it will be the two guys that you mentioned, si Aljun and si Baltasar, si Balti, no? But siguro more vocal, more will be Aljun, but si Balti is a leader, and he lets his play do the talking, no? Yung playing niya. So yun ang pagka-leadership ng dalawa. So the two will be their team this coming season, no? Itong 83
Okay.
season. Yung dalawa yun.
Now meron kami nabasa na Lasal is in a serious build-up, kumbaga arms race. Nakakuha ang Lasal ng napakaraming magagaling na player. And let's just go down the list. Jonel Policarpio ng Mapua. What does he bring to the team, Coach Derek?
Well, he's a guy that can play 2, 3, and 4 position. No? So he's long, very athletic. He can shoot outside. He can play inside. He can fit into the system namin that can run, that can press, and that will rebound. You know? And it will bring a lot of energy for us also.
CJ Austria, nanggaling sa UA.
Yeah, he's a slasher type, no? You know, yung kailangan ko lang ngayon yung slasher type, lulusot, you know, those type of type. Now, when you need to score, things are not going right, then you can go to him and we can get into the free throw line.
Alam natin kung ang pinakita niya nung panahon niya sa juniors, no? Of course, you have other players like Eman Galman, there's Miguel Tan, and Warren Calara.
Miguel is with UP. Sorry.
Napunta sa UP. Okay, hindi napunta sa Lasal, no? Okay, so okay, with all these players, and there are two players na sabi ko nga kanina, Lago Brothers. Ito ngayon, may bago ka na naman brothers. These are Ben and Michael Phillips. Can you just tell us a little bit, itong si Ben and si Michael, how did you get them? And I understand these are two top players coming in for Lasal.
Actually, they were already with LaSalle when I boarded. When I came in, Michael, probably the tallest among the brother. He plays also the four. A lot of energy, intensity. His passion is right there. He will rebound all the time. Very active. He's very active. So he is eligible to play this coming 83 season because he's incoming freshman. Incoming freshman. And the brother is probably a little bit shorter. He is not that athletic as Michael, but he gets the job done. He's an inside player. He will rebound. He will bang. He's the better builder. Tapos he will shoot the outside shot also. But what I like with sa dalawang to is yung even sa bench sila kung mag-cheer, it's different.
Yeah.
Different
Group.
sila
Group.
mag-cheer. Yeah, talagang bigay todo.
Oo.
The attitude, wala kang mga questions sa kanila.
Well, it's going to be a very interesting year. Of course, hindi pa natin alam kung kailan magsisimula ang inyong season. So, let me ask as a final question, Coach Derek, dahil naubusan tayo ng oras, is
Yes.
how do you see the team? How is it looking? And are you very confident that this team that you're building, putting together, will compete even against the top teams like Ateneo and UP?
Actually, the three guys that you mentioned a while ago will just be eligible season 84. So they're not going to be eligible this coming season 83, because they're still in grade 12. But I think that we will be with the team that we're going to field in this coming 83 season will be competitive naman, I'm sure. There's no use of us joining if we're not going to be competitive. But sad to say, medyo nantala ng konti dahil sa pandemic, dahil we only started I think middle of January. So dapat ngayon medyo nakukuha nila yung sistema. But right now, we just have to improvise, kahit wala kami, that I still make sure that the team will be ready come the time that we're asked to practice. Kaya since nung lockdown, up to now, we do Zoom training, from
Very good.
Monday to Friday, five
Oh.
times a week. So it's a mixture of everything. We do yoga sometimes, and there's boxing, and then we do like video, show the
Oo.
players on what we're doing. So, ganun good time. Para hindi rin nabuboard siya. Nakaka-board din.
Oo nga. Well, alam mo, Coach Derek, it will be a very interesting season. Alam natin yan. Especially ngayon, nandiyan ka na. You're at the helm. I'm sure
Yes.
the LaSalle program has direction. Of course, we're all sad that we lost Boss ECJ, one of the biggest supporters of the
Yeah, we're upset
team.
about that. Yeah.
But I'm sure you will be dedicating this season to Ambassador Cojuangco. Good
Yes.
luck, Coach Derek.
Thank you, Tom. Good to see you.
Good to see you. And you're looking good.
Yeah.
You're looking good in green.
Good also.
Animo Lasal.
Animo, yes.
Maraming salamat. Yan po mga
Okay.
kaibigan.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yan po mga kaibigan si Coach Derek Pumaren ng De La Salle University Green Archers. Nako, ang gandang laban ito. Pagka nagkataon na, kasi ang lakas ng Ateneo, lumakas pa ang UP at nagpalakas ang LaSalle. So ngayon, talaga pong, and of course, hindi naman matatawaran ng Adamson, hindi po matatawaran ng FEU. Lahat po yan mga kupunan, I understand, UE also. So hopefully lang makasimula ang UAAP. Alright mga kaibigan, just a few more greetings here. Kamusta po sa ating si Antonio Bonilla, sabi niya, wow, si Idol Derek Pumaren, former point guard of Pure Foods Hot Dogs. Then, great to know that you have been hired by LaSalle Green Archers. Top management to be its head coach once again. You can do it, Sir Coach Derek. We have high level of confidence in you as you handle the head coaching chores of De La Salle University. Kamusta rin po from Antonio Bonilla, sabi niya, good morning, Attorney Nolly, and all the hardworking staff of Power and Play. More power and milestones to achieve for our favorite sports program. All right, mga kaibigan, I'd like to thank all of our generous sponsors who have contributed sa ating Power and Play Pajak, Big Boss Cement, Cherry Loom, of course, Joyride and Happy Move, the LaSalle Green Hills Batch 80. Kita nyo, mga kaibigan natin sa LaSalle. Arben Santos at ang Sinabon, mga kaibigan, marami po salamat sa inyo. Judge Monique Kisumbing Ignacio, Dr. Bonnie Mendoza, Mr. Cesar Campos Jr. ng Singapore, and of course, Pepsi Cola yan, si Larry Lebron, ang ating kaibigan, all the way from Lasal. Puro mga Lasalista to. Mon Torres, and si Paul Alejandrino, all the way from the United States. Thank you also to Sevi Oliva and lahat po ng mga anonymous na nagbigay sa atin ng support na ayaw magpabanggit. Your generosity has been incredible. At ang mananalo po ngayong araw na ito, ang aming pong pagbibigyan ng dalawa na namang bisikleta sa ating pong padyak para sa pagbangon bisikleta alay sa inyo. Ang una po nating bibigyan ay si Romeo Mondihar. Siya po ay tiga Angono, Rizal. Isa pong mananahi. Araw-araw po, 1 kilometro ang nilalakad niya mula sa kanyang bahay patungo sa kanyang trabaho. Matagal na siya pong sumusubaybay sa Power and Play at sabi niya daw, malaking tulong po ang mabigyan ng bisikleta ang kanyang pamilya dahil talaga namang hirap na hirap po siya na pagtagpiin lamang ang kanilang pangangailangan pang araw-araw. Ang kanyang sports idol, si James Iyap. Congratulations kay Romeo Mondihara. Ipapadala po namin sa inyo ang inyong bike. Ang ating po susunod na bibigyan ng bisikleta ay si Celeste Medes. Celeste Medes. Siya po ay taga Pateros. Humihiling ng bisikleta para sa kanyang asawa na wala pang pandemya ay naglalakad na po araw-araw papunta at pauwi mula sa kanyang trabaho sa BGC at Green Hills. Sus Mariosep, naglalakad pamula Pateros hanggang BGC at Green Hills para daw makatipid ng pamasahe at maibili man lang ng gatas ng maliliit na anak at bigas ang matitipid sa pera. Sus ko. Ang kanyang asawa ay 49 na anyos at installer po ng salamin sa mga building, yung tinatawag nating Spider-Man. Delikado pa yung trabaho nito. Ang kanyang pong sports idol ay si Robert the Big J Jaworski. So, Celeste Medes, para sa iyong asawa, bibigyan ka po ng bisikleta ng Power and Play. Again, kami po ay nagpapasalamat sa lahat ng nagpadala ng inyong mga entries. Patuloy po kayo magpadala sa aming Facebook page. Lagyan nyo po ng hashtag Power and Play Padyak. Like our page, like our YouTube channel, at ilagay lang nyo po kung bakit kayo ang dapat bigyan namin ng bisikleta. Again, congratulations, Celeste Medes ng Pateros at si Romeo Mondihar ng Angono, Rizal. Alright mga kaibigan, that will do it for us ngayong araw pong ito ng Sabado, 7/11. I hope that everyone stays safe. By the way, before I say goodbye, advance happy birthday to my son, Fabio, who will celebrate his birthday. Siya po yung home crew ko sa Lunes. Happy birthday, buddy. Alright, mga kaibigan. Yan po ang Power and Play ngayong Sabado ng umaga. Magkita-kita ulit tayo next week. Tandaan nyo po, pag Sabado, bawal ang masungit. Stay safe. Ad Maiorem Dei Gloriam, all for the greater glory of God. Happy Sports Weekend, mga kapatid.